Here we go. All right. How can a fan show that the doping allegations bother them without punishing themselves and not ordering pay-per-views with tainted fighters? We should have to miss an entire card to voice our displeasure with one particular fighter. Look, guys, I'm open to suggestion about ways in which you could protest beyond that, but here's the point that I've made. You cannot reasonably tell me that it really bothers you to the point where you cannot stand it, that is something that existentially is not okay, and then act as if everything is okay. If your behavior doesn't change as a consequence, if your behavior is the same as somebody who doesn't care about that stuff, who's just willing to buy it no matter what, then how can you reasonably say that you're doing anything about it? You're just expressing displeasure, but you're not voting in any kind of way that matters. Maybe there's another way besides not buying it. I'm happy to hear some suggestions, but simply saying I'm mad or being angry on social media, you're not really all that mad, are you? Next. Ryan Bader mentioned in a recent interview that he would have struggled against DC if they fought 5 years ago, but he would win for sure if they fought now. How do you see this playing out now? And will the results be different depending if they fought at light heavyweight or heavyweight? I do think Bader has made some substantial improvements. I have a hard time picking anybody to beat DC. You know, maybe not name John Jones, I suppose, but I do think it'd be closer than it was 5 years ago. I do think, look at the knockouts he's had against Ilir Latifi, and he looked good against Phil Davis, even though it was a close fight. And obviously in Bellator, he's just run through people. So I would definitely say it's closer. I would like to see it, but I don't know that they would be substantially different. Next. Do you think Diaz versus Poirier bout is going to be replaced in UFC 230, and do you think Diaz will stay on the card? Well, he sure as F ain't staying on the card, and I don't think it's going to be replaced. I mean, I don't know what they could do on 2 weeks' notice to get not one but two people to fill in. I think we're just short. Next. Luke, please. Luke, please unblock me. My buddy, shouts to my buddy Chad Dukes in Washington, D.C. He makes people Venmo him $20 to get unblocked. I might start doing that. But Danny, save that tweet. I'll unblock this guy. What's next? What do you think about Khabib calling out Floyd Mayweather? I'd rather have carbonic acid sprayed directly into my eyeballs while I am fed to scorpions alive. What a stupid-ass idea. Couldn't possibly want to see anything less. I didn't even want to see Mayweather-McGregor, to be honest with you. And this is even worse. But if you're asking me if it might get made, shit, dude. CM Punk fought in the UFC. Anything's possible. Next. Why do people think every fight Chael Sonnen loses is fixed? Well, look, he has certainly blended, I should say, or crossed the lines in terms of being a character, being a person. The way in which he loses is sort of like hard to comprehend because the technique. We're used to seeing guys try techniques and maybe not get them. We're not used to seeing them be like almost like a blooper reel kind of failure. And so I think folks are like, he was so clearly he could have done better. When the reality is, Chael has a bit of a habit. Sometimes, I really respect him as a fighter, but sometimes in these big moments, he goes for like, high risk, low reward techniques, like the spinning back fist against Anderson, and it just kind of blows up in his face a little bit. So between that tactical choice and the sort of character he's played over the years, I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about him. Next. Is there a disconnect between media and fans regarding Khabib's connection to Kadyrov? While media seem to be acutely aware of the horror that is Kadyrov, fans don't seem to see how ugly Khabib's friendship with Kadyrov is for MMA. Right? Well, look, our job is to report the truth, and the fans can do what they want with it as a consequence. I'm just going to put it this way. You want to come on this show on the MMA Hour and you've ever done any business with Ramzan Kadyrov, it's going to be the first question I ask you about it. So, we'll see who has the willingness to actually acknowledge some of this bullshit. It's ridiculous that this guy is a part of the sport. It's ridiculous that this keeps happening. I can forgive Khabib if he does it to protect his family in Russia. I really can. But everyone else out there, not forgiving at all. And I swear to God, if you come on the show, it's the first goddamn thing I'm going to ask you. So you're duly warned. Next. Why is nobody talking about Aldo versus Conor 2 at 155? Because it seems like there's no momentum. But I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest. Next. What type of wild game have you eaten? I've eaten rattlesnake. I have eaten turkey. I've eaten deer. I've eaten boar. I've eaten, what else have I eaten? A bunch of stuff. If you're asking, how does rattlesnake taste? Like ass. Next, please. Luke, do you foresee UFC ever sending fighters to challenge in other promotions again, like when they sent Chuck to Pride? Maybe if Dana White leaves the organization, and that's it. All right.